Greetings, geeks. Welcome to episode 844 of Geeks in Space. I am Rob Commander Taco Malda, and joining me once again in pretend low Earth orbit, we have Chris DeBona.
Sup, yo.
And Rob Roseboom.
Hello.
How are your helium thrusters, guys?
I mean, really?
Not great, Rob.
Not great, yeah.
Not great, Rob.
We also would have accepted, not great, Rob.
Oh, that's funny.
That would have been funny if I would have thought of doing it.
Did you not put a story up on this?
There's,
you must have. Oh,
dude,
there it is.
Yeah. So the story, just because I did take that one out of order, sorry, but you know, Geeks in Space. The Starliner launched. It had 5 thrusters malfunction. It has helium leaks, and now they're delaying their return to Earth just because they want to be safe. You know, just be safe.
There was actually a really good picture of the Starliner docked. I want to find that. You guys keep talking. I'm gonna find it.
All right, you find that picture.
Cool photo.
I do like I was legit like worried, and this is dumb, right? Because presumably the space guys have nothing to do with the guys making the 737 Maxes, right?
They're a very different group.
Yeah, they're like
still. It doesn't, having the Boeing name attached to a thruster issue is not. It's not a good look.
It's not. Yeah, it's not cool. It's not cool. But yeah, so I was like legit worried that they were going to have a problem on the launch. So I guess it's good that they only had the problem on the docking and it wasn't like catastrophic.
Well, this is also what delayed them taking off, right? They weren't sure that they could, the helium leak problem. And helium's a very small molecule, but it's not like it's hydrogen. I mean, come on.
It's not flammable.
It's not flammable. But what it does is it pushes the flammable stuff out, right? So that's why you need it.
Sure.
It replaces the volume
that
the hypergolic fuels are taking up, right?
So, yep, they're up there. They delayed their return. So, I mean, I guess we have to share orbit with, or at least pretend orbit, but their orbit is less pretend than ours. But
it'll probably be fine.
Probably.
I mean, they got someone plugging the leak now, just with their finger or something.
Yeah, they're chewing gum, and they just are going to stick wads of gum on it. There's 5 leaks or 5 bad thrusters.
So, do you see this? You can't see my mouse, I think. Yeah, okay. So this is the thruster assembly. Here. So there's 28 service module reaction control system engines inside here, as well as the orbiting maneuver and attitude control engines. So no, I'm sorry, I lied. Okay, because it's my understanding these are the aerojet. So see these little ports here?
Yeah, those look like jets.
Yeah, those are your
thrusters.
Re-entry orientation thrusters. So
the last that I had heard was
just becomes garbage here.
Yeah, they just eject that. That's e-waste, man. It's gonna land.
We've got a day coming up here where you can take it to the fairgrounds, and you can just drop it off,
right?
With your other household chemicals,
right?
So you get your household chemicals, your hypergolic fuels, your trichloroethylenes,
your broken LCD
screen. Your trunk. You just open your trunk and you say, "Yeah, go grab," and they grab it, and they've got their hands in the nitrile.
So things must be different out there. Out there, the fairs have a hazardous dump as a ride at the fair. How many tickets?
No, what they do is they make sure that you're in one of the seats with the metal burrs cutting your skin open, and then they rub your skin with the hypergolic fuels. As a way of managing that. No, what happens is when there isn't a fair going on, they'll schedule a drop-off day, and you basically pull up in your car. This was in California. I don't know the story here because I just keep my chemicals with me at all times here. No, it's a different place.
You gotta stay hydrated, man. You need your cred.
In California, they'd have these events, and you just pull up, you'd open your trunk, and dudes would grab your paints, and
they have those here too.
Other things. Yeah. You can also dispose of paint at paint stores here.
Prescription pills are surprisingly difficult to get rid of too. If you got like a half a jar or something,
that's easy.
You got to go to like.
I've had so many relatives die. This is simple. There's two ways you can do it.
You just eat them all.
Go to the CVS and they have like a little bin, or you go to the police station and you say, "Where do you put the pills?" And they go, "Oh, right there."
You give them to Dolores.
Seriously, the street value of my car when I was dropping off pills from my parents' house was, more than the car.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a spot maybe a hour from or a mile from here where you could just go and just sell them. It's super easy.
They don't want labels.
Call it the corner.
Nope, they
like
don't.
You might have trouble getting rid of some blood pressure meds depending on what you're selling them per pill, but
but you don't want to put them down. You don't want mellow fish, Yeah. So you don't want to put them down the drain.
I was saying this.
Unhealthy.
I was saying this, Rob, last week. I have an old TV that I need to get rid of probably because it's got really bad burn-in. And they charge you to recycle that by the inch.
Yep.
So not only do I have to get it in my car, it's a 7-year-old TV. Not only do I got to get it in my car, I gotta pay by the inch to get rid of it.
What if we just smash it and then put it in a bag?
Then it would be less inches.
Yeah.
And more mercury.
Yeah.
Not
is it
immersing
mercury? What was inside CRTs? It was lead. It was
this is an LCD.
Oh, an LCD. Yeah. So it's indium, rhodium. Yeah. So okay.
Grr.
LCD screen materials.
Can I eat it? No.
Well, no.
All right. Well, JWZ posted a funny one. He was complaining.
That's a name I haven't thought of in a while.
I follow him on Mastodon. He's got
Mastodon, eh?
Yeah. He's got a lot of funny stuff. Actually,
he's still ranting there, huh?
There's a lot of ranting.
Good for him,
for sure. But the one that got me last week, it cracked me up. So Google required a privacy policy in order to be submitted to the App Store for his screensaver, which has existed for, longer
since
than
before Google,
longer than we've been streaming. So he then submitted a privacy policy, and he solicited suggestions from Mastodon. And it was just, I want a privacy policy where all it is things that Google does that they won't. So the entire policy, and it's on the screen to those of you who are listening to the audio podcast. Unlike Google,
the audio podcast of this.
Unlike Google, XScreenSaver will never prevent you from running an ad blocker, and it's all unlike Google, and it got approved.
It's really funny.
So that's the policy story. I can't imagine anybody even actually read it. I'm sure it's just like a checkbox.
That is probably true. But still, solid effort, my friend.
Yep.
I mean,
James Winsky.
We barely read laws in this country before we vote on them. You think someone read a privacy policy? No way.
I would go so far as to say I bet that no legislator in the state in the Senate has read an entire law in years.
Well, they have staffers for that.
Right. That's how you. But you've heard I think I've said this before. My solution to how you fix democracy is that all laws must be handwritten by the elected person. If we did that, all laws would be short, and also we would have handwriting samples, and we would know who wrote them. And then suddenly, ta-da, democracy fixed.
Or our senators are chosen like jury duty.
That's fine too.
Having someone who doesn't really want that job is probably the only way you get someone who would do a good job of it.
Yep. That's right. Unlike Google, XScreenSaver will never destroy the federated nature of email.
Yeah.
Oh, dear God.
Dear God.
Unlike Google, XScreenSaver will never fire anyone for protesting genocide.
Yeah. Yeah, there was one in here about my layoff too.
Oh, so sad.
So,
Unlike Google, XScreenSaver will never donate $250,000 to Donald Trump's inauguration party.
Wait, what? I didn't know they did that. Wow.
Participate in eugenics. missed that story.
All of these are linked too, right? So you can can go do the research, man. All right. Well, the next one that I have on the list is a similar bit of.
So they're trying to cure autism, and that's eugenics now. Okay.
No, I think this is one of those. Yeah.
Okay, I get it. You don't like Google. I'm not saying all of that's wrong, but
you don't like autistics.
The project, which some have interpreted as an effort to purge a specific phenotype from the human gene pool. Okay, a little eugenics.
Just a little bit of eugenics.
Just a scotch.
A scotch. Oh God, they just did a little bit of a genocide. It's no big deal.
Oh, I see you've got a bit of genocide and eugenics over there in your bag. Would you like to pay for that on the way out?
Well, of course, I dabbled in eugenics in college.
Who didn't?
Well, yeah, but who didn't really, Rob?
All
it's
right.
Like you read Ayn Rand, you do a little bit of eugenics, maybe, I don't know, find some child labor in Bangladesh and start making t-shirts celebrating your philosophy. I don't know, just that's college stuff.
College is the time to get the hate crime out of your system.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can grow up and be an adult. Continuing the Schadenfreude, there was just a funny story. Following the acquisition of Xitter by Elon Musk, all 3 consoles have now removed their support. So you can't do anything, tweets or screen shares or whatever. Like, what a big success that's all been for old Elon.
It's really Cybertruck level success, right?
Well, okay, so I have another Cybertruck story in there too, which I'll skip ahead.
Is there one near you?
No, I still haven't seen one. Although there is the Tesla dealership.
Oh, you'll notice it when you see it.
Oh, for sure. Our old bowling alley is a Tesla dealership now. And I keep meaning, because it's also the next door to the car wash place. And I drove like a bunch of miles and my car is covered in windshield bugs. So I need to go there. So I was actually thinking of looping through the Tesla dealership just so I could see a Cybertruck. But if I did get a Cybertruck, what I probably wouldn't do is try polishing it to mirror gloss level finish, which turns out is totally legal. So you can drive around in a car that's just mirrors. And somebody did it.
So Cybertruck. Okay, polished Cybertruck. Yes, so people have been polishing their Cybertrucks.
Isn't that brilliant?
I'm trying to find one that isn't covered in ads,
Yeah, that's a harder problem. Welcome to the internet. It's either covered in ads or written by AI.
Yeah, it's garbage.
Remember when the internet was good?
So I was watching The Boys, and during the Truth Con,
I still haven't watched the season.
Had multiple the internet is dead people.
Oh, good.
I'm almost crying. It's so funny.
What's really crazy is that the internet is dead. That thing started like 5-6 years ago. And,
I know.
And it turned out that they're kind of prescient. So yeah, there's the mirrored Cybertruck, which is much better looking than a regular Cybertruck, I suppose. But can you imagine like the danger that would cause to you on the highway?
So logically speaking, no, it's not going to cause a danger because they're too busy getting repaired. Or
they're not really out.
It's like the old joke about a Jaguar or some other fussy car where it's like, why don't Jaguar owners wave at each other? Because they were already talking at the service center.
Yeah.
It's like there's no need to acknowledge each other. They were just having coffee. So yeah. It's like you're always driving to or from the service center. So, yeah.
Baloo, the internet
There's
was
a
not
Reddit
good.
called Cyber Stuck, and it's just all the problems people are having, and lemons and.
Can you imagine driving behind this at night, just having your
headlights reflecting?
It's got a slight angle, so it should bounce on the bottom, But goodness, yeah. But there's like posts like this that just like kill me.
Kind of amazing.
Oh man. I voted for your comp package. I voted for the move to Texas. Why can't you fix my Cybertruck? And it's like, Dude, Elon's not listening to you, bud.
No, he got a $57 billion pay package. Was that what it was?
I mean, it's appalling.
It's extraordinarily embarrassing. Yay, America.
And then, of course, Tesla's stock, has been falling ever since.
Good job, capitalism.
Good job, capitalism.
You're doing fine. Speaking of, I guess, bad people and doing bad things, we got Martin Shkreli, most punchable face.
Shkreli.
He's back in the news.
Okay, so I'm going to give a controversial take.
All right.
The idea that you can't make a copy of the album that you have exclusive rights to.
So there's a little more to the story. There's a little more to the story because
I mean, he's a punchable face, and I would like to punch him. I agree.
Who wouldn't? The more to the story is that the album was sold with a contract, and the album is explicitly about, like, it's an art piece about the ephemeral wasting away of music, the devaluation of music. It's about that, and it's an art piece which is supposed to remain private for like 100 years. So by distributing it, he violated the contract that he theoretically signed when he bought it.
And I hope he goes to jail forever for violating the contract. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I like it any better when Wu Tang Clan does it to a complete monster. And when Metallica did it to a 12-year-old, right? It's like, I don't know, man. It seems I have a hard time, even with this level of prickitude, which is a word.
Prickitude. All right.
Which is Shkreli, I've trademarked and copyright that word, so you can only use it if you pay me.
Well, I've got my Indonesian sweatshop T-shirt manufacturers already making prickitude T-shirts. Right. They're on the Geeks in Space store.
Geeks in Space.
Make sure to buy our merch.
Buy our merch.
Go to the merch store.
Yeah, I mean, talk about like the most obscure merch would be the Geeks in Space merch,
right?
The oldest podcast on the internet,
the oldest running podcast that still doesn't have merch.
Yeah.
I only care about this in so much as I like the idea, the artistic idea of this album. I don't think of it as somebody pirating track 7 of Metallica's Black Album or whatever. I don't think of it in the same way. This is an art piece. It's more akin to somebody throwing paint on a Banksy.
Or a Stonehenge.
Or a Stonehenge, which I didn't put up. It's a bit of artistic vandalism, and I don't like that. But also, it gave me an excuse.
How does Zen feel? We've been talking over Zen. Zen, you have the floor.
I don't care. I don't care if he copied a Wu Tang album. I don't care if he goes to jail forever. I would have copied it too. I think anyone would have copied it.
I would have copied it.
Especially if he had to sell it by, of course he did that.
For
Look
sure.
at that guy. Of course he did it.
Look at that fucking asshole.
He raised the price of medicine by like 10-fold just because he could. He's
a very bad man.
He's just a capitalist, man. You can't blame the player for playing the game.
Yeah, yo.
All right. This is a weird one that I don't quite understand. This is NASA accidentally broadcasting a simulated astronaut distress thing on the space station.
They broadcast one of their drills or something?
They like
you know it was simulated because in space no one can hear you scream. That's how you can tell. Yeah.
You got snaps for that.
But on Earth, everyone can.
Oh yeah.
That was the original Aliens 3, trailer, and they didn't follow through. Instead, they gave us the other one.
Wimps. So yet they were real embarrassed. They had to release a statement. There's no actual emergency.
Outside of the Starliner.
Outside of the one docked.
I mean, bad timing for the test, right?
For sure.
Bad timing.
For sure.
Let's have a thruster failure test or a out of control thruster test. You know.
Oops. I'll skip the.
Oopsie daisy.
Oops, my bad. Sorry. I'll skip the House of the Dragon story. Chris, you should click on the Tetris font.
Tetris font.
Yeah, and then we can, because I made us a special message using the Tetris font.
Okay, I'm waiting for it to render. Yeah,
it's pretty exciting. So this is a special treat for our YouTube streamer for Ambalu.
Okay.
Let
me guess, Geeks in Space.
Oh, you did it! You did it! Look at that! Are you shocked?
No.
I know.
I'm shocked.
I was gonna have it say "fuck you," but I decided that wouldn't be like quite as nice. Anyway,
it's a little juvenile, you know.
Anyway, I thought that was cute, and it's got a little option to obscure the URL, so I didn't even have to embed the text in the URL and give away the mystery. Okay. The next one is kind of cool, actually. Curl. That somebody did some analysis on Steam, and they identified that the curl and then the lib for curl, the library, is currently in 22,734 Steam games.
I mean, that's great.
I just think that good for that. For that guy.
I mean, it's a great library. It's got a terrific license. It's perfect.
And this goes back to that XKCD comic where, you've got the entire internet held up by, this is just a hobby, some dude.
Yeah, well, I mean, he has his own little thing here.
Curl is just the hobby of some guy that has no business providing a service to a billion people.
Yeah, Stenberg's all right, though. Yeah. I actually really liked this. Why Curl closes pull requests on GitHub. It's actually a pretty funny article.
Yeah.
So.
All right. New York has banned addictive feeds for teens. I'm sure that'll work out fine.
Yeah.
Wait, what now? What? Who knew what? Oh, yeah. So this is like the Louisiana 10 Commandments thing. It's not going to stand up in court.
How could it possibly?
It's just signaling that we're going to do something about it. And it's like, yeah, okay.
Well, it's like the TikTok.
That is complete bullshit.
The TikTok ban.
Well, I mean, yeah.
We're just virtue signaling.
I think that's what this is.
So I don't have kids here, so
that you know
wrong. Yeah, that I know of. I've been in space a long time.
Rob, it's time for me to
have your kidneys
come clean. Dad.
No, my question is, couldn't you just take your kid's phone away?
No.
Whatever. No.
Bite your tongue.
You can't do that.
All right.
You can't be a parent.
No.
I thought you were in charge.
No, you're not.
You were the parent.
You're not.
All right.
Sorry. hey, the thing is, parents have a role in their children's development, and part of that is helping them understand these social medias, what they're good for, what they're bad for, and all the rest. And stick with me, you just give them a tablet and tell them to go away.
Yeah.
And maybe you'll make some mac and cheese later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Both of those are choices.
Yep.
Both of those technically are choices.
Technically. It's hard, man. My kids are on Discord all the time, and I
love Discord.
Yeah, man. And I think that's great because that's the equivalent of hanging out with your friends, and so it's
kinda.
But it's hard to.
I mean, not really, but okay.
I don't know. I mean, we've got a Discord server, which is all my friends.
We do.
And
but it's different typing than when you're socially interacting with someone and meeting.
For sure. But it's hard. Ultimately, it's really hard to distinguish between the two. As a parent. You can chat with your friend on Instagram, but you can't chat with your friend on Discord. Like these sorts of things become very nuancy and difficult.
Yeah.
But just the idea that New York could somehow get involved and make that better.
Yeah.
I don't know how that possibly makes it better. Yeah, and Blue, you're right.
Yeah,
It's not the same as building a fort in the woods.
Yeah. Also, like whatever. I mean, just go and try to get Obamacare and see how piss poor any government agency that is involved with the internet is. How stupid it is. How it doesn't work. Like, what makes you think that they could even do that? You know,
I think,
this
well,
is for sure performative. There's
oh, yeah.
no way the people in charge of that actually think this will do it.
Well, it's more about like how the porn providers now have like they're blacklisted in a bunch of states, so they just do a DNS check and then just block it, which is again performative, and like I don't know. There's no good that comes out of this. There's no good that comes out of this. This doesn't work. House of the Dragon. Either of you guys watch it?
I
haven't watched it yet. I've been watching The Boys and Mandy. Oh my God!
Did you watch Mandy?
Have you been watching Mandy?
Oh no, I was thinking of the Nick Cage movie.
No. So the woman who did Philomena Kunk on Earth.
Yeah.
She has a show called Mandy, which is about a woman.
All right.
In Britain, and her adventures is a word.
All right.
You know, she's down on her luck. You know, it opens with her in the jobs office.
Mm-hmm.
It's there are parts of it that are so funny you want to cry. Like, and you know, it's easy to say this is like cringe in the extreme, but it's not. It's something different. It's a different emotion.
So what's it on? At Blumper or?
Yeah, it's on Blumper, and I'm sure iPlayer. You know, if you're a British resident, I found it in the regular places.
Oh,
you know,
to our podcast listener, nothing happened.
Mandy's. Let me see if it is streaming anywhere else, because it's got 2 seasons of like 8 episodes each.
I love BBC shows for that. just watch an entire season of Extraordinary in an afternoon.
It thinks I want the show. No, the movie. No, I don't.
You really don't? Because the movie's kind of amazing.
Is it?
I'm not going to tell you that it's good, but I like weird stuff.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I like weird stuff, and it's as weird as it gets.
Yeah.
One of our listeners made the goblin in that movie, right?
That's right.
Or help.
Really?
Remember who it was? Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. Cool. Good job, listener.
Mandy's cool.
Although I'm gonna pull it up here and get a screenshot up, because like boy.
You know, I watched a movie that would be in contention for the weirdest thing that I've seen in a while. It was mentioned on Red Letter Media recently. It's called The Baby. Did either
what?
The Baby? Did either of you watch the Red Letter Media on The Baby?
No.
So it's like a 1973 horror movie. And it's about a social worker who's investigating a potential child abuse case. And the baby is called The Baby, but it's like a 25-year-old man. And his mother and sisters treat it as if it's a baby. And it sits in a crib and wears a diaper and cries and can't walk and can't talk. And this movie sort of, you kind of learn about what's happening, kinda. And it's Rob, I think you should watch it.
I've watched it already.
Oh.
I just haven't seen the take of, you know, this is this movie, this is, you know,
yeah,
look how weird this is, whatever.
Because
it's an old movie.
It's a super old movie. I'd never heard of it. And I really enjoyed it, but it's super messed up. I kind of was hoping for some.
I have to shut off the audio because the theme song is Barry Manilow's Mandy.
Oh, okay.
You know, so this is literally the opening credits.
I like Philomena Kunk.
I have no idea what's wrong with her mouth. She's like this the whole series. You know, it's kind of disturbing.
I've read some interviews with her. She's a bit of a weirdo.
She's incredible.
She's a bit of a weirdo. I like it.
Oh, she's a super weirdo.
So she's the writer. That's cool.
Yeah. So this episode is episode 3 of season 1. It's called The Russian. Mm-hmm. And what she does, she puts her house up for Airbnb, and this guy shows up to rent it, and he's clearly a troublemaker. Anyway, he's like, it doesn't match the Airbnb listing, and she's like, yeah, I put a filter on that, you know.
Yeah.
This episode is so funny, and it's what, and not all of them are violent and bloody, but this one sure is. Holy crap. And it kind of comes out of, not out of nowhere. I mean, you know it's gonna happen, something bad is gonna happen, but the way it happens, you're like, this is great, you know. So
I will put that on my list. I can use some more good medias. I was actually gonna try to see Inside Out 2 today. It's actually apparently made a ton of money and is getting reasonable reviews.
So she's like, you know, he's asking her to marry him. And
they just
she's
met.
like, say it in Russian, though. Say it in Russian, you know. And so I'll just show this little clip here. You know, I'm not going to play the audio because here.
You're the worst person I've ever met.
And look at her face. She's like, oh, these are all beautiful words.
Oh, because he's saying it in Russian. I gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
Behind the eyes.
Oh, God. Oh, no. Jesus. All right. Yep. That's some sweet nothings that he's whispering in her ear.
When I'm called to, I will take your life too.
Oh, the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. Oh, it's good. Oh, that's right. She tries on the dress. Yeah. So I can totally recommend Mandy and The Boys season 4. Sure. But Mandy especially. I mean, look at the special effects on this show.
Oh, it's next level. They totally CGI'd that girl's face. Nobody can look like that.
Yeah.
I love Philomena Kunk. I think that character is just hysterical.
Right. I'm not going to tell you why she was getting the work done. So the woman on the left is like her nail masseuse pedicure gal, right? Who she's best friends with. Yeah. So
let's see.
Philomena Kunk, man. She's Diane Morgan.
You know what, Chris?
Oh, damn brilliant.
You need to watch the movie The Taste of Things.
No.
It's a French movie. It's all about cooking. And it's like I don't know, it's not that long of a movie, but I would say 60% of the runtime of the movie is people preparing and cooking fancy French dishes.
Yeah.
Like it's food porn. It's like, let's cut the vegetables and the guy smells it and you watch them stir the pots and like wrap up the birds and put them in the boiling liquids, and they talk about the broths and like, just as a food snob kind of production.
You know, the thing you have to realize about my spouse is she's not a big fan of French cooking. She's like, so let me get this straight. You take a Scirocco, you fill it with produce, you reduce them all down into a brown sauce, and then it tastes like nothing. And I'm like, okay. A Scirocco, you know, the Volkswagen. Yeah.
Beep, beep. You should watch this movie. It's just about the visual,
I'll
the beautiful visuals of watching people cook. And there's a very sweet little love story wrapped through it. And it's just,
and who doesn't love love?
I'm not too excited about it, but I'm old and jaded.
Have you considered not being old and jaded?
All right. I've tried, but if I'm not old and jaded, then New York is going to ban my addictive news feed.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, we really have to think about our listener and our watcher.
That's right. Sorry, Christopher and Envelope.
They could be underage, and we could be
we could get banned.
Corrupting them. Yes.
I think they're already corrupted. They're hanging out in our Discord.
I found out one of our listeners used to wingsuit. I'm like worried retroactively for them.
That's scary.
You know? I mean, skydiving, whatever. It's cool. But wingsuiting? That's crazy.
Yeah, no, that's bonkers. That's not good. All right, so Mandy, is there any other media worth
It's been years, you know, but still.
Is there any other media worth catching up on this week?
Good question.
I need some new stuff to watch. I finished.
You need some. You need some.
I finished Lady Parts. I finished Extraordinary. I watched If, Imaginary Friend. Rob, you'd hate it, but it's a sweet story. It tries a little too hard.
See, maybe I would like it. I only hate sappy stuff if it's stupid.
It walks the line.
Yeah.
That's a different movie.
Yeah. I'd never seen Explorers before.
Really?
Have you ever seen that one?
The Joe Dante movie?
Yeah, from the 80s. Yeah. I'd never watched that.
I love that movie, except for the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, kind of just stop.
Yeah.
Like when they get to the alien ship, it's like, what the hell? This is
garbage.
weird.
It's absolute garbage after that.
It's weird.
Up until that point, it's really good, man.
Woo.
So yeah.
Yeah.
But boy, that last 10 minutes really sucks the good out of it.
Yeah, that's a hard ending. I'd never seen it before.
Full Akbar, it's a trap.
Speaking of which, I'm caught up on Acolyte now.
Yeah, what'd you see on what'd you think of episode 4?
I mean, it's just so. I was fine with them setting up stuff. I was fine with that. But this last one, I don't even care. I hope whoever the bad guy is, he kills everybody, and then the show just ends. You know?
I was thinking about episode 4 a lot when I was watching it, because I realized like halfway through that you could watch it with your eyes closed and it wouldn't have mattered. Because
the flashback scene with her sister, episode 3, I think, was the one that just was such a slog.
It was hard.
It was hard, and then 4, I was hoping something exciting would happen. It was just more
the same.
Let's continue to talk about feelings as we walk through the jungle.
Episode 3 for me was the flashback episode was really hard because there's clearly another half to the story that we haven't seen yet. Like the way that show's edited. Like I assume they're going to have another flashback so we actually see what happened.
Well, so we see how the Jedi tried to kill her twin or left her to die or whatever terrible thing she's mad about.
Yeah. Like that episode, like it was half an episode. Like there's another half of that story. So I left that episode feeling like nothing happened because it was all just more confusion. But episode 4, like there are 5-minute long sequences where it's just two people talking and they're not doing anything. They're just talking. I was like, this is Star Wars.
They're talking in the talkies.
And you know, I'm one of the few who's okay with the Ewoks. You know, whatever.
Sure.
But the little otter thing.
I thought that was funny.
So coming up. Oh my God.
It's a bit much, huh?
We stop, please.
But at least during.
I mean, at least they could have had the River Bottom Nightmare Band come riding through. They're going to go through space with Emmett Otter. That's all.
Space Emmett. At least during that sequence, like people are moving. And like things are happening. They're not necessarily like I don't think that it was like significantly linked to the story, but I was like thinking about like other Star Wars times and like, okay, when do you develop Han and Leia's relationship the best? Well, it's when they're escaping the Imperials, right? And they're trying to fix the Millennium Falcon and things are falling on their head and they're dodging asteroids and they're talking and we're learning who these characters are and we're getting to know them when we're experiencing their relationship. Like we know this. In this show, they stand, the first scene is like them just standing in the Jedi training room talking about things. And then like the second scene is them standing in a crowded hallway talking about what is supposedly like a big Jedi secret. So like they show, it's really frustrating to me. Like it's lazy writing ultimately. Like if you need to exposition dump, you can't just stand in a room and talk. You got to have something happen. And ideally like one of the two of the worst scenes in the prequels, in episode 1, where they travel through the Earth's core and like Qui-Gon delivers the sermon about the nature of the Force or whatever, at least they're riding submarines through the Earth's core, and we're watching monsters and we're dodging monsters and they're eating each other. And that's vaguely symbolically related to the conversation at hand. And then the other one is, have you ever heard the tale of Darth Plagueis the Wise, or whatever, that whole thing. That at least happens while our characters are watching like the space sperm in the opera house. So it's like at least something visual is happening on the screen for you to care about. You could have watched the first half of this episode without any picture and it wouldn't have changed anything. This is Star Wars, man. You're spending $500,000 a minute to put this show on the TV.
It's not that expensive.
$180 million for 400 minutes. Yeah. I mean, do more than stand there and talk. So
well, I mean, not every minute is $500,000.
No, it might have. They spent a little bit.
Episode.
They spent a little bit extra on Emmett Otter.
The problem with that, if you do that, then you just get a movie or a show like, you know, Godzilla X Kong.
Yeah.
Which is just like a video game cutaway scene that lasts an hour and a half. You know?
You're not wrong. But
so do you guys, you know, I'm sorry, go ahead, finish your Star Wars.
No, I was just saying, like, you're not wrong, Rob, but also this is Star Wars, and I like characters can do things while they talk. Like, we get to know the Force when R2-D2 and Obi-Wan and Luke are like scraping off an R2 unit and like reacting to an exciting hologram. Things are happening.
Like in,
we're doing
Game
things.
of Thrones, where there'd be a lot of exposition during coitus.
Yeah.
You know, to the point where they coined the word sexposition to explain it.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Well, it's like the South Park episode that made fun of Game of Thrones because they always walk around the park and have the conversations, you know. This is Star Wars, man.
All right. So, are you guys subscribed to the Lego Ideas? You know,
I'm not subscribed, but I see.
So Lego Ideas is this terrific site where people create their own creations and they upload them and try to get them to become kits, right? So they profiled a creator who is just amazing.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, this is his, I think his most recent. I don't even know, but yeah. So
the
like
visible
people are like
minifig.
crazy for his stuff, right? I mean, look at this.
That's
this
really neat,
nuts, right? And then he did this one here, a sea turtle, and then he did this one, the Moon Palace, and they're like, wow,
that guy should work for you.
Yeah, right. You know, he should move to, I don't know, Skagen, Denmark, Copenhagen, wherever the hell they are. Yeah. Aarhus. You know, no one knows. But yeah, it's kind of amazing.
That's cool.
Look at those trees. The trees. You know? So, I don't know. I'm sorry. Star Wars just like leaves me cold, man. I know that Acolyte is supposed to be good, though, right? Like Rogue One, you know, which was good.
I'm going to watch the whole damn thing, but I had higher hopes.
I got high hopes for the Star Wars.
I will say, at least after episode 4, I finally care a little bit about May. There's May and Osha.
The month? You were not big on May. You were like a straight to April.
Yeah, I just skip it. I just skip it.
You see it as like you know, one of those add-on months that throws off October.
Right. Well, April showers brings screw May. Let's go to June.
April Showers, by the way, speaking of media, is the name of the main character in the fantastic movie Nice Girls Don't Explode.
Oh.
You must have seen this.
No, I was too busy watching The Baby.
Oh my God.
All right, Nice Girls Don't Explode. I gotta add that and Mandy to my queue.
Oh my God. Nice Girls Don't Explode is a classic. So 1987, 87. It's about a young woman who has been convinced by her mother that any amorous thoughts lead to explosions. It came out, I think it came out shortly after Firestarter as like a much funnier version of it. And she falls in love with a ping pong player. And she's stalked by a Wally Shawn. Wallace Shawn? You know, from
Ferengi?
No, Wallace Shawn.
Wasn't Wallace Shawn the Ferengi?
You know, he probably was. It sounds like a very Wallace Shawn role.
Nice girls don't explode.
It's so good.
Right. Is it a comedy?
It's a comedy.
Oh yeah, that looks like a comedy. Cool.
Yeah, it has one of those terrible trailers that tells you everything about them. It's like, no, just leave some mystery.
All right.
So don't watch the trailer. Just go watch the movie.
You know what? Kat and I watched a few weeks ago. We watched Teen Witch. She'd never seen it. Teen Witch. It's like an 80s.
Yeah.
Like I've been stepping through and watching all the weird 80s that I missed. That's why I watched Explorers. So I'm glad Nice Girls Don't Explode. All right.
Nice Girls Don't Explode. Sorry, but you were saying you're an April-May apologist.
Yeah.
And you love the month of May.
I got to tell you, I'm not super excited about the month of June because it's been like 91 degrees here every day for like the last week.
That seems hot for you.
And I want to go outside and I can't. If I go outside, I want to die.
Are all of your air conditioning units working?
Oh, not enough.
That's good to know.
Well, I mean, 95 is kind of warm, especially with like 85% humidity.
It's so humid.
Mm.
I've had my dehumidifier running nonstop for the last week, and I'm actively sweating right now. And it's only 79 out right now. But in another 2 hours, it'll be 90. All right, let's say goodbye, gentlemen. Fare thee well, Rob Roseboom.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Chris DeBona.
See ya.
That was episode 844 of Geeks in Space. I was Rob, Commander Taco Malda, and try not to punch any faces. Bye-bye.